understand that we all have positions.
Okay.
And so the main thing is when you in business when you have any partnerships, is everybody has to learn their rules.
Yeah.
I think once you become powerful and you become more cemented in your purpose, the other people, their lifestyle is not going to line up with yours.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm riding around listening to, I'm listening to some type of jazz, right? And you hop in the car with me and you want to hear some NBA YoungBoy, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm listening to jazz.
Nah. I have never put NBA YoungBoy on.
Welcome to the Traumaless podcast. 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 Welcome to the Traumaless podcast.
What's good, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Traumaless Podcast. I'm your host, JR. This is my co-host, Pat.
You.
Everyone, before we get into our mental tapping, please make sure that you follow, like, comment, and subscribe to all of our social media platforms at Traumaless Podcast. For those who don't have the time to sit down and watch us, know that we do have an audio version on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you want to support us, you can do so by going to our website at www.traumalessapparel.com, or you can donate to the Traumaless Cash App at Officially Traumaless. The links for everything will be in the link tree that's in the description below, so please go and click that link. Today, we have a very special guest with us. He is somebody that is going to be making a lot of waves in the book community and in a lot of different industries. But before we really allow him to get into his background and introducing himself, Pat, it's on you for that mental tapping.
Yo, what's up, everybody? How y'all feeling today? Y'all know here at the Traumaless Podcast, we like to do mental tap in. So Darren, let me start off with you and ask you how you feeling today.
I'm feeling good. I'm excited. You already know I've been going through a lot recently with my moving process, going back home to my folks' crib, but it's going to be a lot to come real soon. So I'm excited for today with this episode and our special guest, and just what we got coming on.
Okay. I ain't gonna lie. Today I'm feeling a little frustrated.
Frustrated?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Just the state of the world that we live in, the things that you see in society, where people's mentalities are. Trying to find a balance between what you seeing and what you believe in. Yeah, it just yeah, I feel like sometimes the weight of the world be on not even on my shoulders. I just wish that you could just get people to see what you see. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of how I've been feeling today.
That's why you been damn near moping around all day.
Not necessarily moping them around, just more so of...
You ain't been seeming like yourself.
Nah, I think people have to also understand and realize when you really have purpose and you have you really want to accomplish big things, sometimes it's you gotta check you gotta kind of take a moment to yourself and redirect yourself. You can either sit there and keep being mad about the same thing or figure out how to change it. People think, I'd be moping around, but no, I'm trying to figure out how to create solutions about the problems that I see in the world. And that's not always easy. You're not always around the people that understand that. You're not always, not saying that it, against anybody here or nothing like that. It's just when you choose to take a certain path in life, sometimes you gotta really just do some inner work with yourself. So I had to really check myself,
As long as you know. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
But with our special guest, allow you to really introduce yourself, let them know who you are, where they find you at on social media if you want them to know where to find you at. And like same question, like with Pat's Mental Tap In, like how you feeling?
Well, first off, my name's Tahuti. You can find me personally under my book, which is Son of the Morning, on Instagram, son.of.the.morning. You can also find me under my underwear apparel. It's called Mandingo Underwear, Mandingo_underwear on Instagram. How am I feeling? Kind of take a page off of Pat, looking at the world, but looking at a lot of things in society, what's going on, looking at the economy, kind of weighing in on me, genocide over there in the Congo, and also a genocide over there in the Sudan, in the Darfur region. You know, very, very troubling. It's very saddening what you see going on in the world. And just a lot of stuff going over here in the States. Racism at its highest, bigotry at its highest. The money ain't there for a lot of people at the lower class. A lot of people out here really, putting on, they spraying perfume on fecal matter. And what I mean about that is they really just masquerading their poverty or their impoverished state of existence with going out dancing and doing a lot of stuff. But in actuality, it's a lot of things that's crumbling within their world. And so, but that's how I feel. I'm taking all that in, I'm absorbing it, and I'm just, taking it day by day, finding out how I can be a solution to a problem that we see that's rampant that's out here.
Okay. That's a very powerful and impactful answer, like coming from both of you. Y'all made me sound like that my answer was just lackluster.
Nah, I mean, it's not that. It's just, it's a series of things. It's like, some days, you choose to ignore. There's nothing wrong with that. You find peace within the chaos. But then some days it's like, reality snap you back. It's like everybody got an inner voice, that's always calling and guiding them. And I guess what led to this feeling today is just like, just tired of conforming, tired of rules, tired of running by a clock, trying to be here, but like tired of surviving. I realized, like, to me, what I'm chasing, I've always been after this, but it's just freedom from all of this. Like, and when I say all of this, I just mean that this rat race, this working a 9 to 5, it's not because I'm lazy. Mm-hmm. It's because I understand that, like, it's more to life than what we just allow ourselves to experience and see. And that's what my spirit is like trying to break from. And so that sometimes, it gets frustrating. And then, like, even last night, just seeing, like, I'm driving down North Broad, and there's this young black girl. She walking in the middle of the street like it's a green light changing, and it just pissed me off because it's like you have no care for life at all. Like that, that had pissed me off because it's just like, damn, you care, you don't give a fuck about your life.
Right.
But it's like thinking about and it made me mad because it's just like how many young people like that who have no, like, they don't care about whether they live or die, but you willing to die about nothing and not like an actual cause or nothing like that. It's like you just dying you want to die just for the sake of it. And that kind of pissed me off because it's just like, it just made it like this is like the state of our society or where we at.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, I overstand. Got it. But now that you've said all that, let's dive into our guest and why we brought him here today. You stated that your name is Tahuti and that you have a book out. But before we even touch on that matter of your book, like, would you care to elaborate on, like, your past and where you have been and how have you gotten to where you are now?
Of course. As a lot of 80s babies, I grew up, basically in an urban environment. I'm from the city of Chester, Pennsylvania. I'm from the west side, to be exact. Grew up, went to Booker T. Washington Elementary School, is not there no more. They the face of these areas have been changed, dilapidation. This was once a industrialized city and it's a shell of itself. And went to that school, was in the middle of the projects called the Labokan Village Projects. We all used to walk there. We used to take the train tracks. It was like a few of us and everything like that. We used to play football on the cement, tackle on the cement. We ain't had no grass. You get what I'm saying?
That was reckless.
Yeah, we was reckless, man. Messing up our new starter jackets. You get what I'm saying? These were some good times. Went to Toby Farms Elementary School, played a great deal of basketball, AAU, all throughout the whole Philadelphia area. Been to the big tournament over there in Vegas. I rode the bench though, Jameer Nelson and all of them, they was rocking out at the time. But it was a great experience, me growing up in that. Used to see just a lot of crazy stuff when I was young on the streets. At that time, crack was new. So, I seen, at the time in the city that we didn't really have, blocks that was selling, crack cocaine. They had coke. So I used to see all the hustlers and everything like that, see how they was getting fresh and fly, keeping stacks of money. I used to run down on them. Let me get a dollar. They give me money. I go inside the arcade. Well, inside the corner store, we had bros, and play Mortal Kombat 1, one of my favorite games when it came out. So I stayed on there. So I grew up. Eventually, started getting into little small troubles and stuff like that. Was landing me a great amount of time incarcerated. And when I was incarcerated, I took that time to read all the books that I can get my hands on. Family members were sending me all types of, literature, no matter if it was different language, no matter if it's the Spanish, Arabic, different things, I took advantage of that time. And within those confines in that prison industrial complex, I wrote books. I found my little niche. I started writing novels. I started writing children books, compiling them. But as anybody else, whereas though when you come to creativity, I kind of put them down, put them to the side because I was scared, basically to get a world, some babies that I got, which is your ideas, right, made manifest, right? So I sat on them for a minute. Ultra procrastination, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I think all of us is guilty of that. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so, when I got out, I vowed to be a positive impact on the community, a positive impact on the younger generation, sit back and give them great words of wisdom. And so, got myself on my feet, started a clothing company. Also, finally, I put out one of my novels, which is Son of the Morning, which is a vampire thriller, and something I'm proud of.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you, so I want to know kind of like what led you to, I always be curious, what enticed you to want to start participating in what you were seeing before you got into trouble and was incarcerated? Like, what was the mentality? What was like family life going on? Like, what were your influences?
It's nothing but the guidance, because I'm not gonna come out and say that, my mom was this, that, and the third, right? A lot of times, whereas though sometimes we just a victim of our environment. You're a product of your environment. What you see going around, you be like, okay. Because I know people that came up from homes that they had everything. They had the new Jordans. Man, they had everything that you can imagine. Video games, they had all stacks of games, they had everything. And they still participated, in violence or doing unlawful activities, right? And so sometimes it's just an environment, it's you being around people. They say in a party of three, somebody is always going to be a teacher. You can learn some good qualities from one person, or if the other person is let's say ignoramus, or that individual right there is somebody that has less quality, you can learn not to take on, participate or partake in those less qualities, right? Or you see going around with three crackheads, chances is you're gonna smoke it, right? So influence, people actually influence you. And so I'm gonna say that, was it a negative influence? I can say it was negative influence, but the seeds of going out and partaking in criminality, I think it dwells in with everybody, is you got to suppress it. It's just the fact that I didn't suppress it. I let it blossom, and it led me to and put me in those dire situations and those circumstances and stuff like that that took me out of society and carted me away and put me somewhere where, as though, you know, people you don't want to be, not for a day, not for a week, you don't want to be there. It's nothing to glorify to be in prison, right? And so that solely rested upon me, just being around people, and it's like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. I could have took a transcendent route. I could have went to college and do all of those other things, but I chose. So, you know, I'm guilty of that.
Okay. So as you were talking and everything, I'll be trying. What something I want to start doing is, as people talk, start taking down like some little notes and little nuggets and some questions. So the mindset that I'm hearing from you and everything is something that's just like not a lot of people have. Like I come across a lot of people who don't have that open mind, that's not really like trying to really break down the walls and the barriers that we are constantly being surrounded in. So I want to know, has your mindset always been like this, and if so, what brought that mindset upon you, or who was your biggest influence towards that?
I'm gonna say this, right? We grew up, and it was always this show that used to come on. It was called Unsolved Mysteries. And, you know, me being a child, I used to watch Unsolved Mysteries, and we didn't have a plethora or just a multitude of different, you know, outlets, social media outlets, or channels that broadcasts and Netflix and all. We didn't have that, so we only had these scheduled programs. And Unsolved Mysteries came on, I think it was like once every Friday. It was one of those days it came on once a week, right? And they showed a lot of like reruns too. So it's like we wasn't blessed to get new content and new material all the time. And within that particular segment, it used to be, they used to talk about the Loch Ness Monster. Then they had one on Bigfoot. But I was intrigued. My mind was open. You know, I'm like, okay, you know, you got different cryptids. You know, I learned the word later on. It was called cryptids, and people that, you know, investigators cryptozoology, right? But I'm like, damn, that opened my mind up, right? I never was closed-minded to that. So, and then, you know, with the music, I started listening to Nas and Tupac, and I was listening to the Jews, you know, within these songs. And then I was so inquisitive. I had a great mentor. She not here no more. She went on to the abode with the ancestors. Her name was Mercer Kurt Ma'at. This is my cousin, my blood cousin, first cousin. And I used to always think she was crazy. Me and her son, a gift, Duke G's. We used to always be like, man, she crazy, man. He'd be like, man, don't listen to my mom. My mom crazy. And she had these books. And with these books, they was written by Malachi Z. York L. And I get a chance to get some of these books, and I started reading. And we got a spot in Chester, it's called Overtown. And Overtown, at the particular time, you had street vendors, hustlers out there, you know, selling merchandise and stuff like that. You had some Muslims also, you know, selling incense, oils, and stuff like that on the streets. You'll see that everywhere, you know, majority on the East Coast throughout the I-95 corridor in those cities. And it was a brother that I was introduced to. He's an activist. He's also he's a father as well. Zamal, yeah, a brother. And he's an artist. He goes by the name of Bigger Dre, and I call him my moon. And I used to just talk to him, and he used to be schooling me, giving me this knowledge of self, and that opened my mind. But still, I didn't cling on to that 1,000% like I was supposed to, because I still was blending and mixing the oil and the water, which would be, the symbolic of, street culture and also righteous culture, right? And I let the latter consume me. But back to that initial question, that helped mold me, Mercer Kurt and Bigger Dre, and also my influences just being around and talking to people. That helped me out. But I just, me personally, it's like somebody is born gifted with music, with talents and stuff like that. I wholeheartedly subscribe to the thought or to the notion that majority of humans are born with those receptive, traits to whatever it is they supposed to be, gravitated towards in life. If you're gonna be skilled as a gymnast or a swimmer, whatever like that. Same thing with ants. Everybody is born for a specific purpose. You got this young brother, you know what I'm saying? His name EJ something. He from down south, but he sings. He got the, it's like gas station love, and his voice sound like somebody was plucked out of back in the 60s and the 70s. I got an idea, right, that throughout the decades, the earth or the people produces these talents. They bring them back, to something that was old, it becomes a new again. And I think that, that reincarnation of people, or that wash, rinse, and repeat when it comes to, humans that existed with those type of talents, they always pop back up in the future. But again, it's a purpose. Everybody has that purpose, and I think everybody is born with that specific purpose. So it was already in me to be inquisitive, to be curious. And since my curiosity got me when it came to being open to other things, I never was closed-minded when it came to knowledge and knowledge itself. A lot of people call me crazy. The more intelligent you are, the more that you seek in life, the more people look at you as crazy. And they nickname me, they coin me with that phrase, crazy. And so that's how that came about.
Yeah, so I like to, it'd be a bunch of times that me and Pat be having conversations, and I like to call that the hive mind, and trying to break away from that hive mind.
Yeah.
So people like you and Pat and even me now, like, we are not a part of that hive mind no more. And so the people that are still a part of that collection, they look at all the people that's outside of it, they be like, nah, y'all crazy, because they aren't following the same program and that same routine. So, like, you not crazy. Like, Pat, you not crazy. Okay, so I really appreciate that insight to your background and what really put you on like that.
It's my pleasure.
I do got one quick question. When would you say was the moment where you reconnected with your purpose? Like you mentioned, it's always been the inquisitive, but what was that moment where it's like you sat down face with it and you accept, it accepted it, you understood, and it's like, this is that moment. Now I'm gonna continue to walk in it. I'm gonna fully accept it and walk in it.
That's a great question. I'm gonna say this. When I turned 40.
Damn.
And how old are you now?
I'm 41 years old. Listen, man, you gotta take care of yourself, man. You're gonna be running around looking like you 29.
Hey, listen, I'm 30 and I look like I'm 40. All these degrees.
You get what I'm saying? I'm gonna say 40, right? Is because you go through a lifetime of trials and tribulations, right? And you gotta, and there's no such thing. The perfect human is an imperfect human.
Break that down for the people who don't understand.
The reason I said that is because life is experiences. So you're gonna make poor choices and you're gonna make rich choices. And the poor choices, you gotta acknowledge that. And once your acknowledgement is, it's like, you're gonna be perfect today, you're gonna be imperfect tomorrow, but the next day you're gonna be perfect, because those right there, they lie within the means, within those boundaries right there, or within what I just said, right? They lie within there because you're meant to make these mistakes. You're not a robot. A robot, you program it just to do this. You're not that. You have free will. So you have that volition. And once you have that, you can go ahead and be like, okay, I have to learn from these things. I was always taught, the master teacher said, man, you know, you can tell a child all the time not to touch that pot. You know, that's hot. But that baby don't know what heat is. They don't know that. They don't know that energy. They don't know it. They have to feel it. They have to find out. Everybody is scientists in a sense. You have to go out in the field and find out. And so it's going to take you a long time. Some people get it early, some people don't. But at 40 years old, it's expressed in the community or in science in general is that's what a man really becomes in his glory years. He's really a man once you reach 40. You know, and I'm going to say is when I turned 40 is because I stopped caring what everybody else thought about me. And I stopped trying to, cause you ever sit back and you just think somebody don't like you or just like you assume you put that in your mind, right? It's like you brainwash your own self, right? And then the whole time that person never even think, they don't even think like that because you sitting back reading their grimaces on their face. You reading how they look and you're just judging off of that. And I just stopped doing all of that. I just like, man, look, I'm just going, I got a purpose. And guess what? Everybody is not on a line right with my purpose. Some people might not like that book. Some people might read it and throw it down the street, right? And guess what? That's cool. I'm all right with that. And once you get all right, once you've reached that pinnacle in your life, you'll be able to excel. Because you're gonna have ideas that's not gonna be the best ideas, right? You're gonna put them out, and they might be like, "All right, man, it didn't work. Let me go on to the next thing." Everything is not supposed to be for you. It's not gonna be golden, you know, in a sense. You just got to keep on going to the next thing and keep moving. And so me personally, once I became 40 and I came to that realization, you know, because I'm almost half a century, right? And I'm like, man, look, I got to start living more in my purpose on what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to leave this planet and not have not even a ripple in the water. Some people is like an asteroid hitting the ocean. I just want to be a little pebble. You get what I'm saying? I'm all right with that. You know, by leaving things, you know, innovations, you know, leaving, you know, and they call it a legacy, but you know, but yeah, leave that legacy. I got books, I got things that I did in this world. You know, you ever look at somebody's obituary and they ain't got shit in that obituary, excuse my language, like what was your accomplishments in life? Right. Like nobody ain't, you know, they just like, and I've seen people like that, people that I even love. And I looked at that obituary, I'm like, yo, they had no accomplishments. Nobody can put any type of things that they have done, anything that they have gave to society or they have done artistically. Nobody can even put that in there. And it's like, man, that ain't gonna be me. So you got to get out here, man, and add some type of, you know, essence to the planet. You know, you have to go out here and add some type of essence to your community. You got to be good. You got to talk good to people. You know, and that's how I got. That's what I got for that one.
So, just in case some people didn't really like deduce what your purpose is, can you really be able to tell the people what is your purpose? Like, what is your why?
Well, I found out my purpose is to sit back and express myself in art forms of communicating stories, you know, to people in words, you know, or in paper. And also to be a teacher in a sense, because as you know, offline, man, you talked about crypto before, right? And how blockchain technology is the future, how the new financial system is going to be, you know, basically built off of these things, right? Integrated with AI, right? And I go around and I give out free game to people. Some people want to take it, some people don't. Everybody ain't meant for it. But I think everybody should be an educator, no matter if you got a certificate for it, no matter what, but you just got to go out there and teach somebody something. And so that's my purpose. Everybody's purpose should be to teach in some type of way. And, you know, I rooted myself in that.
Okay. So I got another question. How's it that you could tell when somebody is really aligned with your purpose and when they're not? How do you go about kind of like weeding those people out?
Great question. Um, it seems like you just got it seems like you have some type of telepathic abilities or something like that, right? Whereas though it's like you know the people who there, you know who your people are. It's like in the Bible when you know, they talk about Yahshua Hamashiach or Jesus the Messiah. You know, he you know, by his voice the you say the shepherd, the flock, the sheep knows the shepherd voice, right? And not to say I'm the shepherd and the people that's lined up with my purpose is the sheep, but what I'm saying is you can tell. I can tell by how a person dress. I can tell by how they move, how they talk. I can tell what they consume and what they put in their body. I can tell what type of music they listen to. You get what I'm saying? I can tell. I know it. Because I think that, you know, all DNA is recycled, right? You know, ideas are recycled. Everything on this planet is recycled, right? And so the same people that's lined up with your purpose is being recycled as well. They come in, they gonna come to and fro from different areas. I'm gonna find my people in Philly. I'm gonna find my people in Camden, New Jersey, in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm gonna find my people in Japan. You know, in the Melanesian Islands. I'm gonna go ahead and find them because they're gonna gravitate towards me. Because once I open my mouth, they're gonna be like, "Yo, I speak like that too." Those are the same thoughts that I have. I like that. I'll be thinking the same stuff, and so they're gonna come and talk to me. They're gonna come and be a part of this movement. I'm gonna be a part of their movement as well. It's because we all aligned up, you know, with those same principles or those same you know, life doctrines. You follow?
Right.
That's how I can find out. You know, and that's the inner judge in me. You know, so
And how you go about like weeding those people out when once
the
you
other ones out, I think, you know, once you become powerful and you become more cemented in your purpose, the other people, their lifestyle is not going to line up with yours. If I'm riding around listening to, I'm listening to some type of jazz, right? And you hop in the car with me and you want to hear some NBA YoungBoy, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm listening to jazz.
Nah. I have never put NBA YoungBoy on. Like,
It's the principle.
whatever.
You know what I'm saying? You know, or I pop up and I'm like, yo, put on some Esperanza Spalding. I don't want to listen to that. I want to listen to some Glorilla, right? Not to say there's anything going wrong with them artists.
Stop looking.
You can listen to what you listen to, but again, the people gonna be like, man, I don't. Guess what they gonna say? I don't want to ride with T, man. He like listening to that classical stuff, or he like listening. Let me ride him on. So that's just not to say that that's the main thing I want to say, but majority of the people that's not lined up with your purpose, they'll break off.
Okay.
They won't even want to come hang out with you.
They'll just naturally eliminate.
Yeah, and then a lot of times with the growth and development when it comes to you having an education or you being a pundit in your particular field of expertise, right? Some people will come and some people will see you and feel intimidated. You keep on forgetting that knowledge, and when you intelligent and when you got a purpose and when you standing on business and you doing things, you intimidate people. Yeah, they not gonna come and tell you that, but you can tell by their body language. You can tell by their mannerisms. They feel intimidated by you, and they not gonna want to come around you, right? Because they have nothing to give in a cipher. They have nothing fruitful for you,
Right.
and so. But if I do come around somebody and I kind of line up with them, you know, I can always cut them off. It's easy to cut them off, but it's very rare for me to ever bring anybody like that, you know, into my circle that's not aligned with my purpose.
Okay. You got a question, Pat?
So let me ask you this then. As you mentioned, you know, life is we always going to recycle, go through seasons, people. Let me ask you, with being on on the path of your purpose, how do you deal with those down periods? Because I think when we romanticize, living in your purpose, it's always good, and you detach from everything, but it get lonely sometimes, and it is them periods of times where it's like you gotta go through that season of isolation. So it's like, how do you get back? How do you stay focused on the purpose in them low times?
I mean, those times are needed. Those down times or those hours of melancholy and feeling depressed are sometimes where as though you don't want to, but again, it goes back to you having being imperfect, and you're perfect, you're perfectly imperfected, right? In a sense, right? You're gonna have that. That's the yin and the yang. And so without that feeling, you won't be able to fully just enjoy the opposite of that feeling, right? It's like happy and sad, right? In order to be happy, you got to know what sad is. You know what I'm saying? If everybody running around here happy all day, it's like it's I don't want to see. I mean, I want to see happy people, but you gonna be sad. Me seeing that you sad. I know that you human. I know that you got a conscience.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? If I see a person happy, just smiling all day, like all day, I'm like, that nigga ain't real.
No,
That nigga right there, man.
I ain't gonna,
He got to be something, man. Huh?
I feel like that's the problem. Like, that's the problem I have with today is like we not real about how we, and like I was breaking down to him, like every day I'm not going. That's not. I feel like by me showing up always, that's not me. That's not authentic to me. It's like if I know my energy is not, I'm not. I may be sad, I may be mad. I don't want to like that. That's me. You feel what I'm saying?
That's you.
But it's like I'll be tired of like the fake, like, oh, you can't be mad. You can't.
Nah, you can.
Like,
you can. It's a part of your being. How you gonna say that you can't? And it's like, what I'm saying. The one thing that perturbs and bothers me is when people project that on other people. You get what I'm saying? I gotta work with somebody, right? And as soon as I look at his face, I be like, man, I said, man, he got a hell of a story, man. He got something that he's sad about. I don't want to hear it. I walk past him. My man Jimmy, his name Joe. I don't want to hear it sometimes because it's like, you always sad. You always sad. You always sad. And it's like for the people that some people use that, as a mechanism, to have people to talk to pull people towards you. What's going on? Oh man, man, the girl dumped me. You done went on 50 dates this year. You can't get one girl. I don't want to keep on hearing about. If you always making these same mistakes and you always complaining about these mistakes and being sad, you got to really go inside of yourself and fix that. You get what I'm saying? So I don't want to hear that stuff all the time. I don't want to hear, I got you got 30 parking tickets and you complaining that you ain't got no money for these parking tickets. Man, you need to sit back and start paying and put money in the meter. You need to stop playing, right? And so it's good, man, to sit back and on them down times and you feeling bad and all of that, you got to own that. It's all right. That's all right. You're a human. Right. A non-human is going to run around here, man, smiling every day, all day, every day, putting on a fake emotional trait and trying to masquerade it. Again, they spraying perfume on fecal matter, right? Instead of addressing the problem. You're going to go through those ups and downs. Just don't let that depression take over you and take your life. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Did you have another one? Because I got a question one.
go ahead.
All right, so you're a business owner, right? So tell us about those businesses that you have started and what was the first one that it was?
Okay. Well, the root word of business is busy, right? So everybody get busy, right?
Right.
But
not everybody.
Yeah, but I can go back and say in my earlier days, being on the streets, everybody is an entrepreneur. You hustling on the streets, right? Because you busy, you doing that. It's just the fact of the matter that you never went and got an EIN number. You never went and got a LLC, a DBA. You never basically filed a document with the state and with the government. and open up a bank account so they can be able to tax you, right?
Right.
But I put that, I regress from that, and I go in and say, Mandingo underwear, the culture underwear. It's a sports apparel, underwear, tops and bottoms for men and women, not tops for men, but that one right there was the first one that I really got a chance to write out the business plan, do the LLC, go ahead and get the Dun and Brad number. Excuse me. And it's longevity. Got the bank account with it, got business credit. That's the first one right there. And it's just gonna take you a long time for you to be able to build something and get it, to a state that you can be, saying that you having positive income. I'm not gonna be the one to say that, yeah, we doing so good, we doing these numbers and everything like that, because the times is changing, the technology is changing, the people is changing. We in the quickening right now. This information age, we got so much technology that's just being, revealed every month, every week, right? And that right there, these are things or products that you can add to your business, man. That can change it can change it. And so it's always an ever learning thing, man. Fooling, with business, when you selling something, when you got a product to sell, some merchandise, very different from like real estate and other things, but that's something right there that helped mold me as being a man rooted in business. Getting out of my shell, as my partner Fats always says, is getting uncomfortable. You got to get uncomfortable and go into these rooms and speak to these people. Rooms that can help galvanize your idea or galvanize your business in a sense. You have to get uncomfortable.
Okay. So you just mentioned that you had a partner, a business partner and everything. I've asked our last guest, because he also has a business. Everybody go watch that episode. But due to you having a partner and everything, how do you navigate those lanes when it comes to having your partner?
I got two partners, but
Okay.
what how do I navigate it? We all understand that we all have positions.
Okay.
And so the main thing is when you in business when you have any partnerships, is everybody has to learn their rules. It can't be all over the place. Strengths and weaknesses. And so I recognize his strengths and his weaknesses. The same thing on the other end, the strengths and the weaknesses on my end. He recognizes those as well. And so at the outset, when we first, got the company off his feet, we had, going back and forth with, clashing. I think everybody had clashed a little bit. We never we come from the streets. We never came from, any type of college, community college, where we took business management and, took these courses and stuff like that. We didn't come from that.
Right.
I just had, again, like I told you when I was incarcerated, I just had the time to sit back and read business law, read the Black Laws Dictionary, to understand, certain terms in jurisprudence, and understand, how to formulate businesses. What's an S corp? What's a LLC, a C corporation? I got a chance to sit back and study, other case laws and look at citations that can help me out. So if I need to, we call it shepherdizing, but if I ever need to go back and see, what was meant or what was to be or not to be, I can always go back and reference those. And so I just had needed to up my game up to learn about the website and learning about other things on how to, market the business and stuff like that. But for my partner, everything runs smooth. We can do a lot better. I think everybody can. Billionaire companies, they always try to do better. They want to rake in more billions, right? And so, yeah, we can do better. We can learn more, but it takes time. So, my partner, we'll get him up here one day. If y'all give us the privilege to come back on the podcast,
Of course.
and he'd be a great guy to sit back and question and just go back and forth. But
Okay. So with your business, first off, for those who might want to go on and support Mandingo Underwear, what is the website for that?
you can go on theculture2019.com, and that leads you right to the site. We got some great things for you. We got some new items that's being put out within a week or two. So stay tuned. Get on that mailing list, subscribe, and get these perks. And you got Black Friday coming out. We're gonna have some sales, going on. So come on over and become part of the team.
So I seen on your Instagram that you be having photo shoots and that you've had like runway shows and stuff like that.
Yes.
Like, do you plan on having more of those, like, for people to be able to come out, really be able to see your craft, work, and all that type of stuff?
Yeah, I had a partner who runs a candle business, Vanessa Lynn Collections. Me and her, we got to get back together and talk because we was doing a Kwanzaa fashion show. Some years ago, we had it on in Germantown in Philadelphia, and it was very successful. We brought out a lot of different brands around the area. They came out, showcase what they had. Shout out to everybody that came and supported us on those events, and all of the vendors and all of the designers that came out, and the models. They was beautiful, very, very talented, and shout out to those individuals as well. We should be putting something together for 2026. Right now, we just focusing on just I don't want to say the rebranding, but I'm gonna say the revamping. So I always think that you got to revamp your brand, revamp, your inventory. So we just focusing on that, at the moment. But more fashion shows will be coming down the pipeline.
Okay. I asked that because it's some projects that we got coming down the pipeline as well with what is it? Like, besides just Traumaless itself, we also have Street Talk, and we also have the Conversation Pit.
Okay.
And so with some of those things, we would probably end up wanting to also partner with you.
Okay.
I know, I definitely know. Well, so those, I know I definitely want to partner because this is just like one facet of what we got going on. Doing this spark made me remember what I set out to do. And so I'm creating, a network, my own network, Gordian Network. But it's definitely for creatives and entrepreneurs. I'm trying to create a resource-based system. Trying to put people over money, get back to that community aspect base, looking at what value you bring, not how much money or, like how we can help each other grow. So definitely something we'll definitely be in contact about for sure.
Oh yeah, we can definitely do that. I'm gonna say the more that you can partner up with other brands and partner up with like-minded individuals, it's always a beautiful thing. It's always gonna be a great outcome because we looking to be able to showcase, our innate talents, what we have to give to the community, what we have to give, to our people, and definitely we can partner up, fashion shows, models, and whatever we can do, I'm down for it.
Sure, for sure. Let me ask you something. You might know a little something about this. I seen the other day it was a post. It said during the Great Depression, was the same time the Harlem Renaissance was.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
What about that?
Oh man, that's a great one. How I feel about that. So at the time when you look at like the Great Depression, with Roosevelt and all of them came, they put out, what was it, House Joint Resolution 192, if I ain't mistaken. Dealing with they confiscated the gold from the people. You know, what you looking at is something that is a repeat. You seeing a lot of the civil rights laws and acts and stuff being stripped. You seeing racism rise, so-called black people getting kicked out of, you know, certain businesses. We just seen CBS fire a lot of black people, massive layoffs just in general across the United States. Because around the Depression, that was like Industrial Revolution, around that time. Every time there's a major change you see in the system, it's going to be events like this. And what happens is something clicks on inside of us. And what that is, that's that creative genius. And what we start to do is we start to redefine and have another renaissance. And you just see like in the top 40, they said hip hop song ain't been on Billboard top 40. This is the first time in 20, 30 years. And a lot of people like what's the brother name? DJ Academics. He blames it on Kendrick Lamar. But you gotta understand that rap, hip hop has been gentrified as well. And so now you looking at the essence and stuff pop back up, people with lyricism, style, the old ways. Again, we talked about how the brother EJ, what's in the EJ, I gotta get his name, the Gas Station Love. Somebody gonna hear it and they gonna be in the comments and say, yo, this is his name right here. But again, that old soul, that old style with the blues and all of that, a lot of stuff is reemerging, resurfacing, right? Hip hop has to do the same 360. Hip hop has to go back to this essence. And so there's a renaissance, which you see within all the culture. You see Trump and his team, you know, purging all of the art that show black people, you know, and the museums is being, you know, attacked, right? And what that leaves for us is we got to create and curate our own, and that's a renaissance. So it's like, why are you gonna be worried about your oppressor or worried about an enemy of you and your people, right? Displaying art that's supposed to be for your people and everything like that. Nah, I put it in our hands. It's gonna go back to our hands. It's gonna be up for us. When people want to come, they want to come to see our events. They want to come to our speakeasies. They want to come to our art exhibits, our galas, right? This is what this is. So, yeah, when people getting laid off, they're gonna become creative. They're gonna become entrepreneurs, and that's what the Harlem Renaissance was about. It's about these individuals taking their arts and their crafts and their businesses and they putting it in their hands, right? This is that pressure that popped and created people like Dapper Dan in fashion, right? You know, you got to have some hunger in you. You got to have your back against the wall. The only way out the fire is through the fire. And so they putting us right in the fire, and the only way to go out. And guess what? Fire is also what? It cures you as well, right? Don't they use fire to purify things? Mm-hmm. Fire ain't just gonna burn you out. Fire is going you know, cleanse, right? It's gonna cauterize, right? Mm-hmm. It's gonna get that. It's gonna burn that bad bacteria, that bad, you know, that negativity is gonna get. It's gonna polish you up. It's gonna make you firm, right? And so something, you know, it's a bad omen and it's a bad thing that's happening. But again, a lot of good that happened because we flourished like that. Mm-hmm. It's how you had the Black Wall Streets. It's how you had, you know, different movements. It's how the Black Panther Party came out and started the free lunch program, you know, for kids in school. Then the government took and seen how successful it was, and they copied it, right? Mm. And that's from that being oppressed. So when you're being oppressed, what you gonna do? You're gonna be creative. When you be oppressed, you express, right? Being oppressed is gonna make you express yourself in another way that's gonna make yourself profitable and make yourself, you know, put yourself on that king mode, or for the sisters put themselves on that queen mode. That's what's gonna happen. And that's what I see. It's the similarities.
Yeah, that's
similarities.
That question. I feel like that's what we really are on the brink of now. It's not about, you know, the artificial, the material stuff. It's about that. But in order to be tapped into that creative genius, you got to be tapped into within, you know.
Yeah.
So you got to have your human compassion, your empathy, you know, the love, you know. So I definitely feel like that's what kind of keep me going in the times we in now, because like some might call me delusional, but I can see that happening again. I see, like, chaos breeds opportunity. It's just about what side of it you're gonna be on when it's all said and done.
Yeah, and around that time, after the Great Depression, like Houdini, FDR, all of them, they became wealthy. They became wealthy because it was a power shift when it came into the financial, when it came to Wall Street and everything like that. And so we see similarities
I mean, even
with the
like
Federal Reserve, right?
Yep.
With the dollar, how the dollar is losing its value, right? We see gold and went up the past 4,000, gold all time highs, right? You had people over there in East Asia running up to buy gold when it was at its apex, right? I ain't gonna say it had a blow off top, on the market, but they was buying on $4,000 plus per ounce, right? You see silver on the commodity silver is up. You look on the future markets yourself and look at it, right? And you see crypto, how the president's saying you want to make this country a crypto country, right? Stockpiling with the crypto stockpiles and all of that, right? But that right there is telling you, it's showing you. And he said it out of his mouth. He said it's gonna get worse. We gotta suffer first. It's gonna be some great suffering. What's the debt ceiling? What we at? $40 trillion in debt, right? Before you look at the U.S. debt clock, 40 trillion, right? Okay, so they gotta, that system, it can't hold up. It can't hold up. So we gonna see a crazy bull run, and then the system gonna collapse. And when it turn back on, everything is gonna be on chain. Everything is gonna be tokenized.
it's just like how they did with the gold.
Same thing they did with the gold.
History repeats itself.
Everything repeats itself. But this time right here is dealing with blockchain technology and AI. This stuff is very, very different. And people gonna be forced to use this technology. You're gonna be forced to be able to live symbiotically with it.
I got this crazy theory. I feel like we already have been living with it. It's just now that the way we perceive it is differently. Like, I mean, when you think about it, money, all these things that's artificial. I look at artificial intelligence as, man-made intelligence. So anything that, we create, like money, in my mind, it's like an example of artificial intelligence. It replaces the true value once you take away things that are have intrinsic value or come from nature or come from that, have their own natural value. I feel like it becomes artificial. So I feel like we already kind of been living in, this artificial world. It's just now the software is updating.
Yeah, we have been. We've been working alongside robots the whole time with your phone. So that's a fact to it. That's a big fact to it.
Internet.
The internet as well.
You just see the different phases, like, Google's the search engine, now it's evolved. Like, it's just all the different things. Ain't nothing new under the sun. It's just a matter of paying attention.
Yeah. You right on that. And I'm gonna add on to it. We are now entering the area of how the movies, which I call, these are the blueprints to the future. So now we just looking at the movies and, all right, now we about to get the stuff that we seen in the movies. Now we getting to that point. Because remember, the Jetsons had the phones and all, they had the phones, so they had to give us that first, right? And then, we got the phones and everything like that.
Now the self-driving cars.
All of that. So, it's a gradual step to it, but the blueprints have always been, because you got to understand this. Like you just said, it's nothing new under the sun. I got a saying that everything already exists. You just got to create it, right? So no matter what you pull out your mind and you design and wherever like that, it can be created. I wholeheartedly subscribe to that. It can be created. If you think of it and you put it, it can be created. Reason why I say that is because with the iPhone, with Steve Jobs, I read his autobiography, right? And he had basically a team of people that was coming up with all these ideas. He came up, he's a visionary. I want this done. Oh, we can't do it. Get him. Oh, I'm gonna work on it. The same thing with Ford, with General Ford Motors. The same thing with that engine. He had the idea because he couldn't, build no cars. He was just a tycoon. He had the money. But he can assemble the people and have the idea or the blueprint and just lock people up and lock people up in the side rooms until they create what he thought. Because you got some people that's gonna be naysayers. I got a good friend of mine that when I was in that sunken place, in a sense, right? I was locked away for a minute. I came up with an idea, I'm gonna write a book about this. He was like, nah, I wouldn't do that. And I looked at him, I was like, shit, I'm gonna write this joint anyway. I went and wrote it anyway because you got some people that's gonna doubt you, right? And so when it comes to, the technology, we seeing the different phases of it. We getting it, the blueprints is right on the movies. The woman who wrote The Matrix, she came out and just said that, I'm the one that created the blueprint for them for the spaceships. And over there in what's that over there? Area 51. She came out and said, I created it, right? Because the mind, and I'm gonna say this, the mind is a powerful thing. Especially in original people. We come up with all the most grandiose ideas. It's this book by J.A. Rogers, right? J.A. Rogers, he wrote this book, and it's basically all the inventions of the Negro. And you'll be, again, you be in the press, you're gonna create something that's gonna be expressed, right? Your idea is gonna be expressed. And they put you with your back against the wall. You're gonna be very creative. You can go across Africa and see some of the young kids and stuff like that with their inventions. Because they poor. So they learn any and everything that they can. They want to get themselves out of that circumstance.
Right.
So when you being oppressed, when you in impoverished conditions, you are going to create something. If you have that in you, you gonna want to create something that's gonna get you out of that condition, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when that your full blown potential comes out.
Right. Understandable. First off, I'm happy to have both of y'all here because I already knew that having you on here, like all the many conversations that we had, all the many conversations that me and Pat be having, I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be a very special episode to have both y'all on the same panel together.
Yeah.
Because the conversation, it's a lot of stuff that I don't know. Y'all teaching me stuff. Don't let it be fooled. Like, I'm listening. I just don't have all the same capacity that y'all do at the moment. Like, it's going to get there. But it's great to have you on here and Pat to be able to really sit here and have that dialogue back and forth with you. Mm-hmm. But as I was listening, you had mentioned like the teaching and even you talking about when it comes towards a book, which I see on the table. You got a book. And so do you want to tell the people like about this book and like break it down to us?
Yeah, I'll break it down to you. It's right here. Son of the Morning. It's a vampire thriller, vampire novel. It's about a 300 and something pages long. Mm-hmm. It's about a guy named Levi Athens, who became a private investigator. It's take place in New Orleans, in the different parishes in Louisiana. Suspense. It has a lot of, ups and downs, different turns. Mm-hmm. If you in love with vampires, and we had a conversation offline about it when you was asking me about the vampires and the agreeables and disagreeable ones, but vampires is just steeped into so many cultures, way of life and mythology, right? In a sense, and this is one of the most sought out areas when it comes to the monsters and stuff like that is vampires, because it's love behind them. You got they human. They look human, right? They just love to feast on blood. Mm-hmm. And we had a conversation before about how like the elites, they say that the elites is getting blood from victims, and they call it adrenochrome and all of that other stuff, right? And so in vampirism, when it comes to women, we call men that can be a succubus, and like they can siphon your energy at times, right? And so this book was inspired by the creative genius in me of pushing a narrative within the novel. It's a narrative. It's a narrative within the novel. Got a lot of occult symbolisms in it. If you got an open eye, if your third eye is not calcified, right, you'll be able to pick up on these jewels that's inside this book. And it's also giving you a lot of information that's going on in this world, that's going on in society, things that's going on in these dark rooms. And so I had to write it. I had to put it like this because sometimes people don't want to hear the truth out your mouth when you speak it to them. You got to tell them again the blueprint to the future with technology. We were just talking about what was in the movies, right? You got to watch the movies, and so every great writer sit back and weave the truth inside a book, a novel. You know what I'm saying? Of fiction. You got to do it. You got to.
What's one of my slogans? Education through entertainment.
Yeah. You got it. In order for me to be able to get something, because you're gonna read it and it's gonna spark your mind, but you're gonna be like, man, I'm being entertained, right? You being entertained, but the whole time you're gonna be like, hold up, this sound eerily true right here. This sounds like something that happened or something that's going on. Is this something like this really going on? So now what it's gonna do, like it did to me when I told y'all earlier about Unsolved Mysteries.
Planted that seed.
Yeah, auto suggestion, right? Put that seed in, and then you can be able to sit it down and you can be able to look at life another way, because no matter what, if it's fiction or nonfiction, you're gonna take something from it because it's some facts in it. You ain't nobody gonna write a book or write a novel and just come up with something that it don't make sense. They gotta grab realities. They have to grab something from existence, right? And weave it through words, through paragraphs. And so Son of the Morning is something that I wholeheartedly think that everybody that's into vampires, or if you just like reading, period, because it's a love story too as well. And you know, women love the love story in the vampire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember that Twilight, huh? That was like that soap opera vampires.
Yeah.
Vampire listening in the light, like Powerpuff Vampires. Right? And so, yeah, I don't want to reveal too much about it. But if you go on my Instagram and give me a follow, and you can be updated on the story, you know, on the characters, Levi, and also, you know, Agent Summers and Maria, and different ones, you know, that's a part of the story that make that makes it, you know, the collective.
Right.
You can be able to follow, and I'm gonna have a sequel coming out. I'm gonna have a prequel that I'm doing solely 100% with AI. So it's gonna be basically like a little series that you can probably subscribe to. I'm gonna have an audio book gonna be coming out soon. Also in digital form as well. I'm working on that. So all platforms will have Son of the Morning on there. But if you're in love with vampires, or you just love reading, or you want to read something, because you know my style of writing is very influenced by Zora Neale Hurston, right? I read this book called "Tell My Horse," and the way that she wrote it, man, blew my mind. I think to be honest with you, I think she an anthropologist, but her style of writing is one of the best styles I ever read, man. The way that she wrote that book, I couldn't believe it. And I read it, and it was just thrilling to read it. If you're a lover of books, man, read that book right there. And that told you, and it went in the depths about her travels to Haiti with voodoo and everything like that. Some people might be like, oh nah, you know, I don't want to tap into that. I don't know. But I'm like, listen. One of the main things that is a buttress, or one of the main things that's a DMZ, a demarcation line when it comes to humans, is we don't have a lot of knowledge about other people's cultures. We don't have a lot of we don't in America we speak one language. You go to another country, they know your language, they know their language, they know their language, they know the ants' language, they know the bird language, and you stuck on one frequency. And so what's good on my end is I studied a lot of people's cultures. I studied people's languages. And I might not be fluent in Mandarin or fluent in, Creole, but I can say I know certain things whereas though they can get me in the door. You get what I'm saying? I know certain platters and foods that your mom or your tia or Theo, makes. My man in Kenya, Jumbo, Swahili. I know certain things that they eat over there. I know certain things that they do and what's going on with their politics, and I talk about it. And they, well, oh, how you know about that, right? And that's one of the main things that stops people from having a better understanding of life. It's those barriers, and once those barriers are broken, you'll be good. But going back to Tell My Horse, it's a powerful book right there. But the way that she wrote it, whew, man, powerful.
Yeah, so I have your book. I'm not an avid book reader, but I started. I'll be reading it at work. They be like, "Oh, you still on this page?"
Man,
You like LeBron James, huh?
this man still probably on page 17. Like,
Nah, I'm past that. But so far, one of the movies that came out recently that I do like is Sinners.
Oh yeah, Sinners. Oh, I love that movie. I watched it again a couple nights ago.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max, I think it is. And so when I started reading this book, immediately I started thinking about Sinners.
Oh yeah, that's good, man.
Immediately I was like, yo, imagine if this was to become an actual movie.
Yeah, I got a book that is gonna teach me how to write movie scripts. And a good guide and pass it over to me. He had wrote a movie script, and he was like, dude, you need to go ahead and use this as a guide to help you turn your novel into a script, so you can be able to take it to somebody and maybe they can, put it on Tubi or something.
Not Tubi.
Not no Tubi.
No, please, no.
Not no.
Well, if that time does come for that to happen, I need front row tickets immediately.
I was gonna say you need to
You gonna act in it?
Acting.
You want to play as Levi?
I'll be acting.
being Levi. I ain't gonna lie.
Why I gotta be the actor, man?
You want to be the actor?
I don't need to be the actor. I want to be the one watching the movie.
Spotlight.
I'm already in the spotlight.
It's not big enough yet.
It's going to, it is what it is now. It's just going to do nothing but grow.
Exactly. By being in that movie.
Nah, in different
Main
ways.
character. Wait, come on. Don't be afraid to be the main character.
I'm already.
But in this book, the black man don't die first. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm
you ain't gonna die first in the book. You Levi.
I'm writing my book right now. Like, this is part of my book, my journey.
Absolutely.
So I'm already.
I do got one question. As a creative, how do you find the time to manage all the different projects, the different ideas, maintaining, a social life, family life, also still being a student as well as a teacher? How do you manage and, find the time for all that?
I don't know. I mean, time finds me. It finds me. I am time. In a sense, I am time. The thing is, it's like, it comes natural. It's like, I don't watch football. I don't watch basketball. I done played so much basketball that I don't even want to watch it no more, right? I do find, whenever I get a time, the chance to play it again, I want to play because it's good for the body, man. It's good exercise. But those areas right there are voids that I feel with, my entrepreneurship. I fill those voids with that. Things you have to sacrifice. I sacrifice that. I sacrifice not being on, let me go ahead and pour all my energy into this NFL thing. I don't pour my energy into that because it's not going to make me no money unless I'm doing the parlays. And For all the people I know, they ain't hitting that one parlay this year yet. So I would have been down on them Jones. You get what I'm saying?
Nah, I don't do football. If anything, basketball.
Yeah. So
But they be fucking up my parlays all the time.
there you go.
Be ready to crash out.
So I find time. I find not even find the time again, man. You know, I am time. I recognize the moments that I can be able to hone in with my craft. I recognize that, and that's what I do. I find, you know, I don't find it. I just do it. I might roll over one day, might be like, man, I ain't messing with this book. Because I'm editing another book. I wrote 10 books. So I got other books that I'm editing right now. The next one is a futuristic book. And I ain't going to go wholeheartedly into it because, you know, I'm promoting, you know, Sun of the Morning. But if you go back and read the credits, I'm going to say the credits because it's a movie. You reading a movie, this is a movie right here. This is a movie script. But you read it after you finish reading the movie, you know, the closing credits will show you the books that's coming out right after this one, right? And I'm just on a run. I'm just on a move trying to get these, not trying to, but putting this material out because the people need it. I'm going to create your wants. I'm going to create something that you're going to want. And this is one of those wants that individuals got to have.
That was a powerful statement. Got me thinking.
What you think about?
Nah, he just said, you know, I create your wants. I mean, you know, just made me think about, like, in society, like, who's creating your wants? You or somebody else, you know?
That's how it is. Somebody.
From within inside.
Yeah. You walk past that, you walk through the mall. You see them Jordans, or you see them other sneaks, or you know, I like Chelsea boots. My other brother said, man, you know, you wear them, you know, you came home and was wearing them cowboy boots. I'm like, man, you don't know, boy, you better stop. And so I can look and see something when I'm into. I'm like, man, damn, man, I gotta have that. Somebody created something that I want. Somebody's created. Whatever it is on the planet, somebody created and you want it. You ain't want it unless you seen it. You gonna be a consumer? I had a friend named Heru, right? He's from East Baltimore. He had told me a long time ago, he said, you wanna think like a owner or you wanna think like a consumer? And so, you know, we all put our thinking caps on back in school. Remember they used to say that? Put your thinking cap on. Put your thinking cap on. You gotta put on your entrepreneur cap. Why do I have to be a consumer all the time? Why somebody can't consume any type of ideas that I have? Why I gotta be what these elites try to say, a useless bottom feeder? Why I do it? You just said that hive mentality, right?
Yeah.
Why I can't create things? Why I can't go out and people come around and purchase my artwork if I'm a painter? Yeah, you got Kahindi Wiley paintings on the wall, but I need my paintings right next to it. I got some paintings. You get what I'm saying? I need to be on that wall of your collections as well. So we at that time right now. We at that new, you said Harlem Renaissance, but somebody got to coin a new Renaissance term because it ain't just a Harlem Renaissance, because that now is spread out across the whole. I don't want to see the diaspora, but I'm gonna say, you know, North America, the continental North America, right? Where we live in, right? And so somebody need to come up and coin a new Renaissance, because you about to see a lot of stuff, a lot of creativity, a lot of geniuses pop out. Which is they here though. The geniuses are here. The geniuses in this room, right?
I definitely feel like it's been like we've been here. It's just more so now that the times are catching up to. It's like now we starting to really like wake up to like, oh, okay, this is why I've been led down this path.
Of course, yeah.
It's starting to come to a head now. But I want to ask you one final question before we wrap up and close out. What does traumaless mean to you?
Traumaless. I'm gonna say you already identify your trauma. You forgive yourself for that trauma. And now you're not actually held to the standards or held back from that trauma. I look at traumaless as it's not just a movement, it's what's inside the human. You get what I'm saying? It's something that you can be able to take because trauma's gonna happen. You're gonna have trauma again. Trauma is everlasting, ain't it? Trauma is everlasting. If you got parents, they got to die. You gonna feel trauma again if you ain't lose them. Things gonna happen. If you got friends, they got to die. If you got brothers and sisters, they got to die. Somebody got to go first. So once you are one with that trauma, and you understand these things in life, and for the people that be like, that don't be, you ever have somebody that you went to school with, and they use somebody a passing or whatever like that as an excuse to punch somebody in the face? They get in a fight. Like, yo, like, why you come here and do that? You know what I mean? Yo, he going through something, man. He just lost his pet cat. Like, nigga, you socked him in his face because you sad from a cat. You get what I'm saying? But he didn't know how to handle his trauma. You follow? He ain't know how to be one with that. Right. And he be like, yo, I gotta go ahead. My trauma, I gotta go ahead and I gotta fix it within myself and everything like that. And so once you understand that in life, you become traumaless. Get what I'm saying? Once you understand that, I can't keep that car forever. And that little gerbil that I got, my pet gerbil, he gonna die. You see what I'm saying? My goldfish, they got to go. These Jordans, I can't keep them in this plastic, man, and keep looking at them. I gotta put them on my feet. Them Air Force Ones, man, when I wear them one time, they gonna get fucking wrinkled and fucked up. I hate Air Force Ones, man, by the way. I gotta say that like that. Right? And so, Nas said, man, everything eventually comes to an end. So try to savor the moment, because time flies, don't it? The beauty of life, you gotta make it last for the better, because nothing lasts forever. And once you understand that right there, that was on Lost Tapes 1. And I understood that. Nothing lasts forever. Everything changes. Only thing constant is change. Anything remains the same as dead. And so traumaless is a reflection of that. So once you like, I'm traumaless, that means, you still gonna have some trauma. These people get hit, get shot, and all that, you gonna get trauma. Shock trauma, whatever like that. Surgery, whatever. Things happen in life. But it's like, that's not, that trauma is not the thing that's gonna hold you back. A lot of people, trauma hold them back in life. And so that's the major ingredient for your procrastination, is using your trauma and stuff like that, using what you went through in life to hold you back from your potential or what you supposed to do on this planet. See, you follow? There's a lot of people out there that's like that. It's a lot of people. I had told somebody, I said, man, and I learned this from the ancient. They said, and I was just down in Baltimore, outside of Mondawmin Mall, speaking to a couple weeks ago, speaking to a crowd, and it's about breast cancer awareness month too. They was in there with their pinks on. I was looking at it, I didn't have that pink on. I had blue and stuff on. I was like, damn, I should have had pink on. But I sat back and talked. I sat back in alongside Brother Gambino and talked to the ladies, beautiful sisters. And I was like, man, the ancient said one thing that, and I'm gonna close out on this, right? If you bring forth what is inside of you, then what is inside of you will save you. But if you don't bring forth what is inside of you, then what is inside of you will destroy you. Don't harbor any great ideas. Don't harbor any of your talents. Don't harbor none of those things. Don't harbor any pain, all of that. You got to bring it out. You got to heal yourself. You will heal yourself once you bring that out of you. Once you bring your talents. You know what I'm saying? Like that movie Chris Brown was in. They ain't know that nigga could sing. And he just popped up and started singing. Oh my God, he can sing. So, you know, you got to get that. That don't belong to you. That belongs to the world. Don't belong to you. You think it do because it come through you, out of you, but man, that talent belong, you know, that people got to see that. That's for the people. Don't die and stuff like that. Next thing you know, I go through the manuscript like, this nigga wrote 1,000 books. Man, look at this. The whole time he was sitting on all of this, right? Yeah. No, man, give it to the people, man. The people need to get it, man. Give it to the world, man. Put it out there, man, so they can give you not your flowers, they can give you plants. I want plants. Don't give me no flowers. Flowers, man, you put them, they die like 5 days, man. You put them in that damn, them plants, man, give me a spider plant. Give me my plants. They stay with you and they purify the air in your house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's what I got on Traumaless.
Really
Appreciate you, good brother.
Appreciate you.
What?
Right here. Appreciate you, good brother.
And before I close out, we forgot to mention this on the first episode, that we are looking for a third co-host, a female co-host. So we forgot to drop that nugget in there. I blame Pat.
No, it's not my fault. But we're looking for I want a female that's tapped into her divine feminine energy. Somebody that a female that truly understands. I'm looking for that. I think that is needed. I think it's needed to showcase what it looks like to bring the black woman and the man together. Darren, you know, you exude that masculine energy. I feel like I play the bridge, and so I feel like that's something that we need to be able to showcase what it looks like for 3 different, you know.
Yeah, and being able to have a healthy conversation, even if like we do go butt heads and everything, but being able to express and like our mindset in a healthy manner and articulate it in a way for each party can understand, and for everybody else to also be able to understand as well. So definitely, like, I agree.
Any final words?
No. You got any final words? No. All right, that's all the time that we have for today. If you like this episode, please make sure that you follow, like, comment, and subscribe to all of our social media platforms at Traumaless Podcast. If you want to support, make sure that you go over to our website, www.traumalessapparel.com, or donate to the Traumaless Cash App at Officially Traumaless. Please join the conversation by dropping your questions, advice, or any of your concerns. Again, I'm your host, JR. It's my co-host, Pat.
Neil's got the beats.
Look, and we came to turn it out, and it ain't over, so just hang over till the gang is out. Get the bacon, shake and bounce, and the shake and break and make a money till the bank is out. And the shawty keep him busy with it, keep it dizzy with it. Love it when she getting jiggy with it, and she throw it all around, trying to spin around, but it ain't over till it's over. We ain't finished now. And she winning now, getting figures now. Tell her get them now, put it in her mouth. I'ma hit it now, hit it, split it, kick her out. Put her in the crowd, shouting what it's all about. In the midst of the mischief, this kid just did it different. Taking pictures with my friends and all my sisters. A couple blisters from the Vicks, I couldn't get it, but still I put it on my mind. Now it's time, let's bounce.
Found it. That's all he cared about.
No.
Screw this episode.
Yo.
Where's the picture?
He said, I actually don't want anybody else to ask anything. He said, y'all trying to get deep and revert this shit back to a podcast? No, we need a reaction to this logo. Can we see so that we can...